Well, hello my friends and happy Sunday. We are creating a gorgeous piece today in my journal. I am determined to finish up my journal for this year, so I'm creating a ton in my journal right now and it feels really good. So let's take a look at the supplies before we dive into the project. So down here on my table, here's the beauty. Look at her. Oh, so much fun. Soft and grungy all at the same time. I just love it. Okay, so supplies that we used for her. Background, lots of random collage papers. The one collage pack that will be available for you on sale is the Bright Butterfly Collage Pack. These two are from it. This one was a random one I had in my stash, but there's a ton of great ones for that collage pack. Stencils that I used for her are the vintage bellflower. I use that to kind of get my flower mojo going. I used the Be Strong letter stencil for the background, which I love this kind of grungy bit happening over here. I was going to cover it up, but I didn't. And I used it for the Strong, and then I used the Faces Looking Forward stencil to get my shape. Stencils always for my guide, always. It just makes the process so much easier. Paints, I used burnt sienna, raw umber, some black, and then I used my those were kind of background colors. I used pale terracotta, Prussian blue, Payne's Gray, Prussian blue and Payne's Gray a lot for her face with gesso to kind of give me that really artistic kind of grungy, like charcoal sketchy kind of look. I also used my Stabilo All Pencil, which is one of my favorite things to use for my faces because I can kind of sketch it out over my stencil and activate it, and it allows this kind of free form to start happening, and it gets that mojo flowing for faces. Flowers, I used Algerian Crimson Hue. I used Soho Magenta. I threw in a little bit of Blue Red Light. This is a matte paint. And then I also tried new matte paints that I got from Pebeo or PBO. I don't know. These are the matte pub paints. I've not tried them before, and these are super matte, and I really like that. This is Ruby Rouge Magenta. This is Ivory. This is Raw Umber, and the Raw Umber is not, it's got a little bit of a green tint to it. It's not exactly the same as my other, but it's close enough, and I like it. I like the matte part of it. So those are the paints that I used. I'm trying to think. Oh, I used olive green. I'm looking at my palette here. Olive green mixed with raw umber to kind of give me my really dark and grungy leaf colors. That's pretty much it for her. Of course, my gesso as my white, matte gel for my papers. I used a lot of brushes. I used my filbert in two different sizes for her face and for the flowers. I used an angle brush, a couple different sized angle brushes. I used a small round brush for some of the tinier details. I used my charcoal pencil, of course, my Stabilo All, and then this is a white charcoal pencil, and then my soft pastels in these kind of neutral gray colors that go with her face. For all the sketchy lines and shading and additional things like that. And that's really it. I mean, I used a variety of paints, but that's really it. I didn't want to create too much texture in the background and take away from her beauty. So that is it. Gorgeous piece. All right, loves, those are the supplies. So let's get to creating. right, loves, that was fun. It was so enjoyable. I probably could have gone on way longer and fussed with her face. I just got lost in the process of her and all of her beauty that was, I mean, it came together so organically, and I really liked that Payne's Gray, Prussian blue hue of her. Real kind of artistic, almost charcoal pencil drawing kind of thing. Loved it. I haven't done a face in a long time, but man, grabbing a stencil and using that as just kind of your outline so that you don't kind of have to, know where all the things are at and then just go for it was so fun. I'm trying to think. Wanderlust, just a couple things. Wanderlust is still on sale at a discounted price if you haven't gotten it yet. It'll still be on sale for another week. It's till December 24th, and then that's it. You won't be able to sign up for it after that. So if you want to get a discounted price, do it now. And I don't think I have anything else coming up, which feels really weird, but everything's kind of slowing down for the holidays. So that's really it. I will be doing some extra journal videos on YouTube this week, and maybe a few extra on Instagram and Facebook, just kind of clips of it, because I really want to finish up my journal and start fresh for the new year, and I've only got a couple weeks left to do that. So I think I've got like 4 or 5 pages left, so not too bad. So anyway, so let's talk about her. So I originally was going to do a ton of different stuff in the background, but once I got sketching on her face, because I wanted to kind of sketch her face out to kind of get a feel for it of what else I needed to do, because my papers back here are really random. Like this is an envelope. I just grabbed like a handful of things from my stash and then put them down, because I figured I was going to be covering up a lot of them. But this music sheet, more and more love. I'm like, okay, perfect. And then the stencil that I use, the Be Strong stencil. This is just, I don't know why you don't use it more often, because all of the words on here, like stay strong, you can do it, keep going, brave, strong, adjust your thoughts, live your truth, you got this, trust the timing of your life, be different, be you, create beautiful moments. I mean, all the good words. And so when I quickly sprayed that on there to just kind of get some pattern going in the background, I really liked how it looked. I liked that grungy, and maybe this goes back to this whole series and process of that Strong and Tender series that I started. I think I'm still there and working all of that out. I don't know. But I have loved this kind of difference between the kind of soft and the strong. I mean, this gal is determined. She is focused. I love it. And then yet we've got the soft flowers and the butterflies and the vines, and so I'm just so pleased with how she turned out. And don't forget that the stencils that I use and the collage pack, the Bright Butterfly collage pack, will be on sale. But I really love her. She's just beautiful to me. And I decided to just leave this raw, because that's kind of the deal right now with, I think, myself and everybody else. So the meaning behind the piece. So I originally was going to do a different word. I was going to do more like warrior or brave or something like that. And strong just stuck out to me. And partly because I got a couple of emails this week with regards to my last journal page, which was very chaotic. And I shared really vulnerably how I was feeling as I began to plan for the next year and thought about what had happened in the past, because that's what you do. You kind of review the past year and see what you can do better, and then plan for the next year, especially in business, personal life too. I was very vulnerable about how I was feeling about all of that, and I got some emails from people concerned, and which is always thoughtful and that kind of thing. And yet, I think it's really important. As I started creating this, I started thinking about that because I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that I was okay, but that I was just processing. And that everybody's journey looks different. And so as I started creating her, I wanted to put on a word that said, I'm okay. Like, I'm a warrior, I'm a this. And nothing felt right. And just strong stood out to me because we all do strong differently. And strong can look like so many things that don't look strong. And I don't know if that makes sense to you, but being strong can definitely look like weakness to a lot of people, or it can look like giving up, or it can look like chaos. Strong can look like a lot of different things, anything but strong. And I felt like I needed to reinforce that in myself because while I was appreciating all of the encouraging notes, I thought, am I okay? And I'm like, I'm as okay as I can be. There are definitely times throughout the year where I felt like I wasn't okay, but I felt like I was still strong. In a weird sense, because I never gave up. I still was fighting. I still was working. I was still showing up. I was still all the things. It may have looked like I was falling apart. And maybe in some sense I was. But maybe in some sense that is part of being strong. And so as I started to think about all of the things that can represent strong, it is so many things. It can be vulnerability. That takes courage, strength to be vulnerable, to share the raw moments. Strong can be caring for an elderly parent when no one sees the hours and the work that you go through. Strong can be showing up at a funeral when you feel like you can't and you have no words or emotion. Strong can be caring for your children, getting up in the middle of the night and just being exhausted the next day. Strong can be fighting your way to keep your business and paying your employees and doing whatever it takes to do it. Strong can be sitting up in the middle of the night and making a plan. Strong can be so many things. Strong can be saying I'm sorry. Strong can be melting down and sharing your emotion. Strong has so many different sides that no one can really tell anyone what strong is, except the only way that I can tell is when someone keeps showing up for themselves, for their life, for their journey, and not even necessarily for everyone else. And yet as parents and people of society, we have to show up for other people. We have to show up for our jobs to pay our bills. But showing up for ourselves when things are terrible, when things are out of our control, showing up is strong. The strongest thing that you can do. Showing up to create a messy, chaotic journal page, showing up to create beautiful florals, showing up to create is strong. Strength has so many different faces that I can't even begin to share them all, to explain them all, to even understand all of that. Strength for me is showing up. Strength is prayer. Strength is getting quiet. Strength is creating when I don't feel like creating, because it helps me. It helps me show up for me. It helps me be present. Being strong just means we show up. And sometimes we show up in our pajamas. And, sometimes we show up with grumpiness, but we show up and we don't give up. And so that is so I had planned to do a different word for her. And the more I created her and the more I got into it and the more, as you're creating, you get to think. It's quiet. You're processing. All of that strong and thinking about, am I doing okay? Everyone might have a different opinion, but I'm like, yeah, I'm doing so much better. And yet I'm still vulnerable. We're still all raw. We're all still human. And strong is being human. Strong is just being our flawed, beautiful selves and showing up. And so I needed that word like nobody's business. And most often, somebody else needs it too. And so I thought I would share that with you, how that strong word came to be in my creative process today and how I processed through. Our journal pages are just so incredibly important for our mental health, for so many things. Just to get away to create for just a few minutes, that is strong. So my friends, however your strong looks, it's perfect. It's perfect. And you do your strong your way. And keep showing up for you. However that looks. However messy it looks. However beautiful it looks. You keep showing up because that is strong. Seeing a therapist is strong. I wrote out a list of the things that I said were strong. It's just amazing. However you do strong, you do strong. And keep showing up. All right, my loves. That is my Sunday inspiration for you. Hope you enjoyed the project. The link to all of the supplies and everything will be down below in the YouTube description box. And I hope this Sunday you realize how strong you are. Just you're strong. How strong you are. And how showing up for you is so, so important. Keep showing up. All right, my loves. Have a wonderful Sunday. And always, always know that you are loved.